Yo, Laurent.
Hey, if it isn't Mr. First Places, right? You guys are in first place comfortably. Feels nice, doesn't it?
Let's take a tally. I'm not gonna even entertain that comment. Let's take a tally of your three teams this weekend.
No, seriously. I mean, come on. I'm just congratulating you guys on your positioning in the table.
It's not really congratulations because for me, I've said from the beginning of the season we're gonna win the league. So for me, I've this feeling I've known.
oh, right. You've known to the same degree throughout the season, throughout the course of the season, from beginning to end.
There's
We're,
been bumps in the road, of course. That's due the course. Especially when you're going through a long road trip, there's gonna be bumps in the road. There's gonna be hailstorms, but the windshield wipers keep everything clear, and the object is at the end. We've never lost sight of the object, but have you?
mm,
Have your
I
three teams lost object?
I think I mean in Chelsea's defense, we lost sight of who we were the moment we got rid of our owner. I think that's exactly when Chelsea lost a big part of its identity. And yeah, it's been like you like to say, right? A bump in the road, a bump in the journey. It's a long journey where we're looking to get back to that identity, to that level. And until then, you know, we're here for it, right? We just gotta hold on tight when those heavy bumps come about.
So what's going on with the bumps of your other two teams?
Oh, you're talking about City?
City and Liverpool. It was a difficult weekend for Mr. Piana. All three teams
Listen,
choked.
I don't know why you would say Liverpool because on one end, Liverpool is nowhere near competing for the title, and then other than that, yeah, I just don't understand
I
why.
mean,
I think
some would say once you spend half a billion in a transfer window, you should be competing for a title after you came off winning the title
oh for Liverpool,
for Liverpool. And then for Man City, some would say if you're cheating 115 different ways, you should be winning year in, year out.
well, I'll tell you what. I think for those that did watch the game, they uh, they showed some good grit in salvaging that result. If we're all being honest, the mis 100%, bro. Do you
Was
know
it grit or was it Everton being complacent?
it was not Everton being complacent. I can tell you that right now
Wow.
because Everton also did have their chances going forward. They just weren't able to capitalize, right? You had some defensive defensive coverage, and then you even had the keeper making some decent saves. It's just City showed that they were willing to take anything, right, to keep in the race, and you have to credit that, right? The goal from Doku to tie it. By all means, please, if you feel like I don't personally, I don't know, did you watch the game from beginning to end?
Yes.
No, sorry, I'm talking to
Oh,
Mr.
sorry.
If you love me or whatever the philosophy is behind the sweater. That guy laughing in the back. I mean, tell me.
I just want
Mhm.
listen. Okay, t tell me the truth before you get into your waffle about Man City. 2 points dropped or 1 point gain?
It's definitely 2 points drop,
Okay,
but you
thank you
have to
very much.
acknowledge 100% 2 points drop. But you have to acknowledge, bro. For one, the nature of how the tide of the game changed course. One man, Gahey, Mark Gahey, on a pass back to the keeper. I don't know if you guys saw the pass back,
I did.
right? That right there is something you can't account for as a manager, as a teammate, right? And even as a fan. Again, right? These are professionals. You've done that pass a gazillion times, and on this one instance, right, you decide to not put the pace on the ball. The striker gets it, and he
May I
screws.
ask you a question though? Sorry to interrupt, but may I ask you a question?
What?
If this was Arsenal playing Everton and Gabriel or Saliba did that pass, the rhetoric that would be all over the news right now would be Arsenal can't handle the pressure. The bottlers are back again.
But that rhetoric has historical accuracy, you could say. What you just said is historically accurate.
I would
Just
I would
just
agree to disagree.
well,
We
take your
can agree to
sentence.
disagree.
What was your sentence just now? Right? The bottlers, right? Because you guys
Yes.
have been in that position. So it's a fair
Whoa, 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 whoa. We've never been in this position with 3 games to go to have this type of lead ever.
No. When I'm talking about being in this position, you guys been in positions where you guys were second place towards the end of the season, or you guys were in a position to compete for first towards the end of the season, and then you guys bottled it, right? Like you guys have been in this position. We're not going to pretend like this is there's a reason why you called.
Not in this context. We've never been in
So
this
wait.
position in this
So okay,
context
wait. So why does Patrice Evra call you guys Netflix FC? Why is that something, right? Like
because he's a United fan and he hates Arsenal.
no, no. Again, you have to be honest. The real thing is, right? I feel like when I come onto this podcast, you guys have the inability to actually look at yourselves and be honest with what actually goes on
I
in the
am
club.
being honest. If I said this year is the only year that if we didn't get over the line, we bottled it because of the position that we were in. We were never in this type of position ever. In the last 3 years, we were never in this position.
Ah.
You're telling me that we were in this position this late in the season, the last 3 years?
I'm telling you right now that if we were to go back, I'm sure there's been a season or two where City has taken the league from you guys.
This late in the season.
Even if it, bro, I mean, we're in May now. I'm sure what would have happened would have been April. You guys shot yourself in the foot. Also, given the fact that historically, Arteta's April performances are not the best in the Premier League. So yes, if we're considering April, um, that's late in the season, right? Because I think May is the last month.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's late in the season, bro.
Okay.
Well, first of all, you need to. I told you this before. You need to stop painting everybody with the same brush. All Arsenal fans are not the same, just like all Chelsea fans are not the same, just like all City fans are not the same. I don't know where this you guys rhetoric comes from either, because I've kept it real many times on the podcast too, and I told you my thoughts and my feelings, and I've said when I thought we were out of the title race, and I've said certain things against the club many times. Me and Murda don't always have the same opinions, so you know what I mean. What you guys is not accurate. Like I've said before, and I agree with what you're saying. I think we have bottled league positions from the past 4 years when we're in a title race. Doesn't matter if it's 3 games or 10 games. Yes, I agree. We've bottled it, and that's where that their narrative comes from that yes, the bottlers have bottled it again. So I agree with you on that front. However, when it comes to City, we can't ignore the current state. Like just because they've won it in the past, right? We can't just say, oh yeah, so today's excusable. So this is why we call you, or call City your second team because I'm just listening to you talk, and this is the second week in a row you've come on here and defended City, or tried to justify something they've done. Like last week against Burnley when they won 1-0, instead of the narrative sort of being, oh, they've stumbled over the line against a relegated Burnley side 1-0. Everybody's biting their nails, including Pep, spitting all over the field in the last minute of the game. But your rhetoric at that time was, oh, they came, the resilience 1-0, as if they beat prime Barcelona in the Camp Nou. Bro, they played Burnley and they won 1-0 away from home against a relegated side. So they're clearly nervy. Now this week you come on and talk like they didn't just drop 2 points in a title race with 3 or 4 games left, but instead it's like, oh, the
Then
resilience, the bravery. They came back from, bro, they dropped 2 points. Call a spade a spade. Like, why are
hold
we
on, hold on,
justifying this?
hold on. Again, right? Because now I'm gonna go and I'm gonna do what Murdad likes to do is to throw some context in there. If you're a defender, right? Your defender makes a mistake of that nature, right?
Hmm.
And that's how the tide of the game gets turned over on its head. And then after that, it was a corner, or something like that, right? Your defender, that's where it all started from that one mistake, that pass back, that bro. If I were to like,
Well,
if I
what's
were to
your
put
point?
it,
Okay, so what's your point?
so my point is right that you have someone on your camp that does a terrible mistake
Hmm.
that frankly causes you guys to spiral downward for about a few minutes because I think some of the goals came after that, right?
Hmm.
Mhm.
And then after that, you guys are able to find it within yourselves to salvage a result. Yes, those no matter how you spin it, you still drop 2 points.
Hmm.
However, you're damn right in saying that those guys fought tooth and nail to give themselves a chance, right? Because a loss, some people are saying the league is over. Arsenal have won it. With a tie at this point, right?
1 point
It,
is no good either. Pep would have told you
it,
that before the game. Oh, the both teams need to go to win all five
despite
games.
despite the fact that it's no good, right? You just mathematically, right? Just numbers wise, that point could play a big role depending on how it unfolds on your side. So at that point in the game, you're down 3-1, I think it was.
Hmm.
Yeah, I'm
Yeah,
pretty sure it was. Yeah, I'm pretty sure you're down
that's
3-1,
3-1.
and there's X amount of minutes left, right? Bro, their fans were leaving at some point. Their fans were leaving. They score, right? Holland, they're back 3-2, right? Yes, you obviously still want to win the game, but first, right? Tie the game. Get to level, so you can at least snatch something if the whistle is blown. But then beyond that, it's the fact that at that stage you can tell that they were willing to step up the intensity to right the wrongs from one of their teammates, and you've given yourself a chance. Yes, 1 point. It's not the outcome you desired at the beginning of the game, but at that point, 1 point is it becomes quite something when you're down and the game is pretty much guaranteed a loss. And like I said, right,
So
you don't
you
know
think
how.
that's how Pep and the team are looking at it? You think they're
Uh,
saying, yes, we got a point today? You think that's how they're looking at it?
no, it's 2 points drop. Again,
Okay.
we're not saying it's not 2 points drop,
So they did fumble it today.
but you do realize, right, when Doku scored, right, you saw Pep celebrate. No,
Yeah, of course, because his team scored a goal.
okay, but that should just show you if that's his natural reaction. Then he understands the weight of that goal and what it can factor into going forward. Bro, we've seen I swear we've
Oh my
seen
God.
listen, you can take this how you want, but I'm just telling you that if this ever comes down to a point where this season is decided on that single point, right? Or if that comes into play, then I'm sure we can all look back on this and be like, that was hard fought and it was worth them fighting to get that 1 point.
Laurent, it's over.
You can say that, right? Because you feel confident that it is. But again, there's still how many games left on your side?
3.
There's still 3 games left, which for one,
It's
right?
over.
No one knows the outcomes of those 3 games. Right for certainty.
Win, win, win.
No one knows for certainty. I'm sorry, no one knows for certainty. You can say 99.9%, but you are not certain. Just like no one is
I
certain
am
that
certain the next 3
no,
games will be wins. The
my
only
guy,
way that the last game will not be a win is
my guy.
when we've already wrapped it up. We
I
win the
think
next 2, it's over.
I think it's your enthusiasm saying that, but just do understand, right? That
How's my enthusiasm with what I just watched today?
no, okay, because again, like I told you, bro, no one knows for certain the outcome of those next 3 games.
Laurent, 2
You
weeks ago you were saying the mentality of champions is when they win when they're having a bad day. Man City are not champions because they do not have the mentality to get something out of the game and to keep pushing on. They collapse.
they definitely did get something out of that.
No, they did not, because as soon as Gahey did that, that's where you pick him up and you don't collapse. They collapse.
Yes, and then
Because
you
I was gonna say,
collapse,
so that
and
was
then
the first goal, right?
Yes.
Yeah, so they still scored two other goals after that. You know what I mean? They didn't lose 1-0 because of Gahey. They scored two. Everton scored two other goals after that.
yes,
You know what
that's
I mean? They
fair.
conceded 3 goals.
That is 100% fair. And like I said, right, to even at that stage of the game to come back, right, and secure yourself a point, which at this point, right, who knows, could play a role in deciding the season. I think still shows character. And to say otherwise, for me personally, I think is completely dishonest. And to go back to Murdad, no, you are not certain. You have a high confidence. You believe with a high probability outcome that you guys are going to win it, but you are not certain.
I'm
That is the
certain
guarantee.
we are going to win
No,
it.
you're not, because no one
Yes, I
is
am.
my friend. No one is certain as whether or not they're going to wake up tomorrow next morning. You understand that, right? If you can't even predict that for yourself, how the
Wait,
hell
hold
you?
on. Are we hold on,
No, no,
CJ.
no.
I
But
think I think the wrong person is wearing the sweater. Why are we getting so deep? We're just talking about football.
no, no, no. But it's the logic is the same. Even if we're talking about football, if we're talking about the logic is the same. We're not going to switch logic because we're talking about completely different things. So again, right? be confident, be enthusiastic, but I'm just letting you know, you were not certain as to the outcome. You have a high probably outlook on it, sure, but you're not certain because no one knows for certain what's going to happen
Okay,
tomorrow.
let's break it down. Okay, there's four games left for Man City. Okay, possibility of 12 points. Correct? Yes. You guys in quick
Yeah, yeah,
math?
we're all following.
Okay, so that's possibility of 83 points. Arsenal have 3 games left, 9 points. Okay, that's 85. Both teams win out, it's over. And if you look at the remaining fixtures, Man City have 2 difficult fixtures coming up. You have a team that's fighting for you have 2 teams fighting for European spots. And depending on what happens this Thursday for Aston Villa, you may have 3 teams fighting for European spots. And then there's Arsenal. We play relegation battling West Ham. Yes, CJ and I talked about it in the recording that we did. That may be a banana peel game, but I think coming off getting to the finals of the Champions League, which we will get to, I think we're going to kick on and win that game. And then we have Burnley, and then we have Palace away to finish the season. I'm certain it's over.
No, you're not. I mean, for one, you just said, I think we're going to go on to win that game, right? So that's just you, like on a subconscious level, acknowledging that you do not know for certain. Because for one, right, your language would have been
And
different.
I
Eh,
will, I
But
will.
anywho, that's beside, because I think we're all it's just semantics at this point, right? Like I said, you can be as confident as you want. You can show that to the world, right? Express your certain levels, but at the end of the day, no one knows for
Here's
certain.
another certainty that I have. My other certainty is Chelsea will not be playing European football next year.
I think that's high probability. I think that's definitely high probabilities when you factor in the outcomes. But again, is it certain? No,
It's
but
certain.
it is very high probability, right? And I'm sure you know that, right? You know the difference between certain and something that is like of a lesser likelihood, right?
It's certain.
Again, I think
We're talking about Chelsea. It's certain.
I think that your language, right, is inaccurate, but by all means.
Well, HR was away on vacation, so we're back again. Episode 104 to be certain or to be high probability. That's the motto for this pod, I guess. Certainty. The certainty of Arsenal winning the Premier League as I predicted at the beginning of the season. The certainty that Mr. Piana chooses his football teams. Like, actually, no, I don't want to get called out by HR. Anyways, welcome back, Gunners. Um, Back again for with another video. As always, we made it almost 20 minutes in, so we do apologize, but as always, hit that like, hit that subscribe, hit that bell, most importantly. Um, sometimes Lauren and I are not on the videos with CJ, and some of the content that he comes out with is absolutely insane. So hit that bell so you get the new videos. I think the newest video that CJ put out was regarding Miles Lewis Skelly and a certain Jack Wilshere, legend, had told Arteta the skill set for this kid, and he didn't listen. And when he did listen, look what happened. So after you listen to this pod, highly, highly recommend you go back and listen to CJ's breakdown of that because it was actually brilliant. Um, and that's what we're trying to bring for you. So please help us to get to 100 subscribers. Hit that like, hit that bell, and subscribe. We're here bringing you more content, bringing you more banter. Some weeks HR will call us, other weeks HR won't call us. But we know to know me is to love me. How you doing, CJ?
I'm good, man. Like I said, it's been a good Monday. and I purposely didn't watch the Everton Man City game because I need to go watch and hate watch the full 90 after this in bed, relax, maybe with a glass of wine, and just knowing the outcome, I can enjoy that one and just look at the tears and the bottler, the famous City fan with the Arsenal bottle. A lot of different reactions today. I don't know if you guys saw, but it didn't
Stay
quite look like
humble.
it didn't quite look like the Arsenal bottle, today. So yeah, man, I'm gonna enjoy watching that one back after. But as Laurent said, there's still a lot of work to do for Arsenal and for City. So whilst nothing is decided today, today was definitely a big bump in the road for a certain light blue team from
Yeah.
Manchester.
Stay humble, they say. Stay humble, they say. Let's bring it back to the red side. Arsenal, CJ and I, we prior to this game we had done our predictions, and CJ, I did go back fact check myself. I did originally say 3-0, and then I changed it to two. So I said either
Yeah, I
three.
saw it, yeah.
I said 3-1 or 2-0. So I did say +2, but it was +3. It was +3. Arsenal beat Fulham. Apparently, there was a bug going around in the Fulham camp that may have played a part. Nonetheless, I think Arsenal wiped the floor with Fulham, Arsenal's B team. Marco Silva, thank you very much. The Arsenal agents, you did a good job. You may now proceed to win out the remaining games because you allowed Arsenal to beat you. Bravo. Um, I think two performances for me, CJ. Before I let you break it down, to the extent that you do, because we want to hear your tactical brilliance. Two performers for me, and I think you know who I'm going to say. One, Victor Gyökeres, well done. We've been asking for this the entire season. You did at the beginning of the season when Kai Havertz was injured. You ran yourself to the ground. You got in an injury, and it's taken you quite some time to get back, but you're hitting form right when we need you to hit form. Second person, Miles fucking Skelly. Lewis Skelly, MLS. It's frustrating to know that we had someone that could play midfield when we were looking for midfielders, ACJ.
Yeah.
It's frustrating to know that earlier in January, when we needed rotation, and you didn't trust Christian Norgard when there were certain games that you could have played Lewis Skelly, thinking back to the Wolves game, thinking back to the Forest game at the City Ground. Who would have thought giving Lewis Skelly 30 minutes in certain games, how much of a difference that would have made to the legs of Zubamendi and Rice?
Hmm.
Am I saying that Lewis Skelly would have performed like this every single game and game in, game out? Absolutely not. That's not what I'm saying. Do I think that he would die for the club? Do I think that he would track back better than Christian Norgard? Yes. Do I think he has more pace? Yes. Do I think Christian Norgard still has the mental side of it more than him in the sense that he's a little bit more aware because he's played that many more games in the Premier League? Of course. For God's sake, Christian Norgard was a captain of Brentford. But you gave the kid an opportunity and he ran with it. Did you see at the end of the game how Arteta hugged him?
Yeah.
Right? And apparently it came out after the fact that they didn't even give Lewis Skelly a warning.
Yep.
Apparently the lineup was held, tight to the chest until like the very last minute to tell the players.
Lewis Skelly said he was in the dressing room and he rubbed his eyes when he saw the lineup because he couldn't believe he was playing and much less playing in midfield. So yeah.
Right? So those are the two key players for me. Um, Obviously we can always talk about the Star Boy and the impact that he had and what we've been missing with him. Um, but those were the two key performers for me, right? Outside of that, well done. The certainty level just went to beyond certain, infinity uncertain, some may say. There's a couple of things that are certain, Laurent. Death, taxes, gravity, Arsenal winning the Premier League. Hand it over to you, CJ.
Hmm. Yeah, I know. All jokes aside, like for me, I think yeah, we were predicting and we are looking at the remaining games for both Arsenal and City, and I actually, I fully resonate with what you said about the West Ham game. And I know we have the small matter of a semifinals against Atletico Madrid to come before the West Ham game, but looking how we played today, or looking how we played, on the weekend, and the lineup that we put out, that gives me confidence going into like a West Ham game, for example, right, which is our next Premier League game. It's like this was the formula all along. And all we needed to do was find it within to unleash it. And lo and behold, we learned certain truths. You can play attacking football, Arteta. You can play Lewis Skelly, a midfielder in midfield, and get the best out of him. You can play Eze in his natural number 10 position, who can therefore unlock a Gyökeres because we have a number 10 who can actually play forward instead of sideways and backwards. You know what I mean? Like it's just certain things that was always there. We didn't need to go out and sign somebody else. We didn't need to go and do the solutions weren't have always been internal. It's just it was always down to the manager to get the best out of his internal counterparts. And I think, I have to say bravo to him. Well done. I think he got it spot on and he finally, unleashed the handbrake, so to speak. We've been calling for him to do something like that for a while and it caught us all off guard. So much so that at halftime, the fans were cheering as if we just scored a goal or cheering like it was a full-time whistle. Like I heard the fans were really, really loud at halftime, just cheering the
Wow.
team off the pitch because they were finally happy and enthused and excited by what they saw in that first 45 minutes of that game. I think it caught all three of us off guard, all three of us watching, right? I know Laurent was waiting for an epic hate watch, probably of more Haram ball, but he was quiet in the group chat for a bit. So it goes to show that I think we're all kind of taken aback by one way or another with regards to the football that was on display, and it was a good game. It looked like some of it looked like the Arsenal of old, in terms of us putting combination plays together, 1-2s around the box, quick, incisive play, forward passes, looking for your striker early, right? So that was a lot of positivity around that. And I think a lot of it had to do with the lineup that we put out, right? When you get
Mhm.
more ball players on the pitch and you have more players that you trust who are technically secure on the ball, who have the high IQ, right? And I'm talking from back to front, right? Like for example, Nkapie. As much as Nkapie is a brilliant defender,
Yeah.
we love him as a defender. Calafiori obviously showed in this game that he's just so much better going forward, right?
Hmm.
Again, nothing against Nkapie, he's brilliant, but as a defender, we know he's solid, he's locked down. He doesn't have the same qualities going forward as that a Calafiori does. Calafiori, he pops up all over the pitch. Fulham defenders don't know what to do with him or how to mark him because Calafiori can pop up in the center striker position. He can pop up on the right wing like he did in this game. In the box, he's a threat. So things like that, right? And then obviously your midfield, which is it was such a well balanced midfield on the day. And again, all due respect to our captain, Art Odegaard, I've had my say on him. Just with Eze as your 10, it just makes it a difference completely to how we play because Eze's first thought is always to go forward. And the second goal that we score, where Gyökeres assists Saka, that's again with Eze, no one's really talking about it as much, but Eze's forward pass, it's all it is sometimes. It's simple.
Hmm.
Eze gets the ball in midfield, and his first instinct was look up, boom, and he plays a long ball on the ground down into the right channel for Gyökeres to run onto. That's the kind of service that Gyökeres needs, right? If you play the ball forward into him early, he thrives off that. If you take your time and you let the opposition defense get settled and get to marking and let everyone get in position to defend, then yeah, it's going to be harder for Gyökeres to find spaces, right? But if your first instinct as a midfielder is as soon as you get the ball, look up and look for your striker, lo and behold, like look at the possibilities that open up, right? And with that goal in particular, as it gets his head up, just plays a little ball, simple ball through the lines down the channel. Gyökeres runs onto it, and actually some decent hold up play from Gyökeres, who actually shows a little bit of patience, turns and plays a good pass, around the corner into Saka, and then Saka does the rest. And it was nice to see that both of them combined for that goal.
Like,
And
where's
just
all this been from Gyökeres though? Like, that's what I don't understand. Like, how? Like,
honestly, he's playing different at the moment. Like I feel like he's playing like a man on a mission. Like he's angry. I feel like he was angry to be dropped in the last couple big games. Like I'm sure he was angry to be dropped at the Etihad when Kai Havertz started up top. And a couple of the games after that. I think in the Newcastle game he started on the bench, if I'm not mistaken, when Kai Havertz started. So again, we've always said this about Gyökeres. He's a guy who backs himself. He's a confident lad. He believes in himself and his ability. I mean, for God's sake, the guy came to the club and took Thierry Henry's number 14. That's pressure on a striker because no one's held up to that billing since Henry left. Maybe Aubameyang has wearing 14, but Gyökeres came here and he believed in himself and he backed himself, right? And so I think Arteta came out and said afterwards too that the Alcaraz is improving. We're getting the best out of him. He's doing certain things in training now where he's listening to our instructions and he's starting to get to settle in. And he's showing that he's learning and improving in some ways, Alcaraz, right? So it's just a matter of, fine tuning that and carrying on. And I think he's, clicking into gear at the right time of the season. Obviously, we're in the run in. But yeah, for me, I don't know, something different about him at the moment. He just looks locked in, right? And now that's three
He looks
goals and
angry.
he does, yeah. Like there's 3 goals now in the last 2 games. Obviously, he hit that penalty in the semifinals in Madrid with conviction. He scored his 2 goals today, and we must talk about that header for the third goal, right? Not an easy header. A lot of people say he's not good in the air, um, but that header going away from goal and sending it back where it came from, we saw Kai Havertz miss something similar the other week at the Etihad, right, in the 90th minute. But Gyökeres, converts from a brilliant cross from Trossard, and yeah, man, that was a crucial third goal that ended the game in the first half, essentially. So big up to those guys, and we have to obviously talk about Saka's involvement. He comes back fit and firing, and we saw something that we've been missing all these weeks without Saka in the side. But when he's fit, we all know he's a different guy. Trossard on that left wing, again, I much prefer him to Martinelli, and I'll get into that why when we go through the starting 11s when we're previewing the Atletico game. But Trossard again, just somebody who's more technically secure on the ball, right? We know Martinelli's just what we would call in Jamaica fast and foolish, right? He doesn't necessarily have the IQ or the touch or the technique, but he just runs with his head down and just more times runs the ball out of play, right? But Trossard, he actually has the technical ability, left foot, right foot. He can play a ball into space through the lines. Um, and the last person I got to touch on quickly is Miles Lewis Skelly, right? Again, I think the balance of the team on the day was just good because look how many technicians, like I said, we had on the pitch, like guys who can play, and it was just so balanced because you have Declan Rice as the sitter, as the holder. It just
Hmm.
gives the freedom and the license for the Ezes, for the Miles Lewis Skellies to get on the ball and to drive forward. What's the difference with Miles Lewis Skelly and Azubamendi or an Odegaard? Lewis Skelly looks to drive forward, right? He has those forward runs in him. He'll drive and glide through the pitch on the ball. So it was just beautiful to see, man. And Miles Lewis Skelly, if it wasn't for Gyökeres, he would be my man of the match, to be honest with you. I think he had a good game in midfield. So it's nice to see, man. Like I said, a bunch of technicians on the pitch. So I think the balance of the team was right on the day, and this is definitely something we need to look to use to go forward.
I uh I just saw a video of Erling Haaland at full time saying we're still in it. And as he was clapping the fans, a Evertonian showed his phone with the crest of Arsenal. And all I have to say is life comes at you real quick, eh? Life comes at you real quick. And I think for someone like Erling Haaland, who's got a lot to say, who has obviously come out with multiple memes, um, life comes at you real quick. Mr. Piano, what was your take of this game? Because I know you watched it from beginning to end, and I know you said this was 2 points dropped. Um, I mean, from a haters, I mean, from a neutral point of view,
Wait,
I just want to get
what was 2 points shot?
for Man City.
So wait, which game are we talking about here?
I want to talk about the Man City game. Is that okay with you guys?
Yeah, yeah, we can get into it. I mean, before we get into that, I mean, Laurent, did you watch the Arsenal game?
Yeah, I did.
Oh, you did.
Of course. Why
Was it
would not?
hater watch or was it Arsenal watch?
No, it was definitely a hater watch. Like, listen, I don't shy away from these things, man. I tell you what it is, man. It's 100% hater watch, man. Until for everyone is all Arsenal games will be a hater watch.
Oh my
On
days.
It
my
never used
side.
to be. It never used to be this way, guys. I
So
think somebody must have rattled him a little bit, but it never used to be like this.
so listen, man.
Who CJ? Who might have rattled him?
I will say this because I think I mean for one CJ has never given me the or given himself or his club the opportunity to face such hatred. I feel like during his time for as long as I've known him, I think he's showed a certain level of humbleness, right? Even to the banter, right? To the approach. And likewise, man. I mean, you tell me, CJ, right? Those York days and whatnot, right? When we were on top, when we were winning, did you feel that kind of energy from me? I think not. I think the banter was pretty cordial. So
That's what I'm saying. Somebody must have. I know
So
something definitely rattled you recently.
So with that being said, right? With that being said, because I feel again, right? I think some people at the club, or at the fan base, do think that you're a lot bigger than you are, and you want to make it known. That's fine. It's cute, but like I said, right? I now stand in allegiance with all fans of the game who find Arsenal fans to be quite annoying. And yeah, so I think for those reasons, I will have to continue my hate watch. And it is what it is. It is what it is. And with that, listen, best of luck to you to your endeavors. And I do hope again, right, if you are certain as to you guys winning the Premier League, I surely hope because like I said, right, if you're certain and if it doesn't happen, then by all means, this will definitely be a bottle of
This would be the biggest bottle of lifetime.
yeah, so again, best of luck to you. And I mean, CJ mentioned the Atleti game, right? Small matters, eh? Listen, I don't know if that terminology was used correctly, if that's how you want to paint the game, but I don't think we'll get there, right? But I don't think Atleti is gonna play that game, right?
That one
Um,
went over your head. Hey, you didn't cue the sarcasm in there.
yeah, so
Brennan,
that's what
please tell me you caught it.
Of course.
Okay, okay. Oh, come
okay.
on,
So
man. I'm
Listen,
not
listen. He's
disrespecting them.
he's he's more concerned about understanding that after spending $2 billion, another $2 billion needs to be spent to fix up the squad, and the fact that they're not playing European football next year. I think all those things are going over his head. He's probably Googling how to contact Blue Co and how to get them out. That's probably what he was thinking when you were saying all those sarcastic things.
I mean, listen, by all means, I definitely would rather bring back Abramovich back to the club.
He's never coming back.
Hey, listen, understandably, right, given the political reasons, but
Yeah.
for me, that would definitely be the guy in charge, right, of this club. But it is what it is. We'll bounce back, right? If this is your time, then it is your time. Hopefully, it is short, as they say. But yeah, man, don't worry about.
Short like Arnie Slot's hairline?
No, no, I was gonna say short like your trophy cabinet in the last 5 years, right?
Hmm.
Short
Hmm.
and small, right? Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Damn. Someone's really pissed you off. Eh? I wonder who. I really wonder who.
Yeah, man. I honestly, I think it's also a combination of also going into the gatherings and just seeing some of these fans, and again, it's a delusion. See what I'm saying? And I don't understand where it comes from. I truly don't. But
Bro,
by
it
all
comes
means,
from being the biggest club in London.
uh,
I like this is the thing.
again,
You act like listen,
again,
football didn't just start 5 years ago. You know that, right? We've earned our
again,
right to be where we are and to be one of the biggest clubs in the world. That doesn't just happen by fluke. Yes,
again.
we've been in a dry spell, but
Yeah.
you know,
We didn't buy our history.
it's the truth, man. You can say what you want to say, drink your apple juice there, but bro, we're talking the
Yeah,
truth here.
lemonade, lemonade,
Sorry.
lemonade. But
You got to build some lemonade stands to be able to fund another, 2 billion.
hey man, listen. Again, in regards to Chelsea matters, we'll figure our shit out. And once we do, I believe we'll get back to being at the top of the pecking order. So
Okay.
till then, right? I guess all banter is permitted, as they say. But yeah, the City game, right?
Yeah, City game. I mean, we touched on it a lot. Like it's been a Mad Monday. City drop 2 points. Um, the one takeaway I had from the game is just how nonchalant City were, and I think they're not taking it as seriously as they could have. And I was talking to my cousin about this, the one who's a Liverpool fan, and I was telling him, I said, look, without Rodri there, they don't have that spine. And you saw it. The midfield, there was something lacking in the midfield.
Yeah, is that actually what it was? I didn't watch the game at all, so I'm curious to
Personally, the
know.
way I looked at it, there was something lacking in the midfield.
Hmm.
There was no sense of control. Because a lot of the times what Rodri does is he gets and he protects the front line. He drops in like how Declan Rice drops in, right? That's what I saw. But other than that, like I think they were just nonchalant, man. I don't think they took it seriously.
No, I agree. I definitely agree with that. After they took that lead, it's not necessary that they dropped off, but I think in the nature of the attacks, it just was not as clinical as it should have been for these kind of games. Um, and as well as Murdat pointed out that it definitely felt like there was a gap in the midfield.
Mm.
They've allowed Everton, even before Everton scored, they've allowed Everton to have a 1-2 chances, even one that Ndai shot straight at
Oh,
Donnarumma. You
fuck.
thought that was going to be the one, right? But
Yeah.
yeah, no. Um, they look pretty vulnerable in the back. But again, like for me, what we saw towards the end of that game, right? I think that's how City should be playing with that level of intensity and that level of pressure, right? And sometimes that's what it takes, right? For people to kind of lock in to realize, oh shit, we're down. It's crunch time, and then you're almost procrastinating at this point, right? To try to submit something last minute, which is essentially what that was. And yeah, by all means, at the end of the day, definitely 2 points drop, without a doubt. But in terms of the overall picture and giving yourself a fighting chance, I think that's what Doku allowed or gave them, offer them, right? And yeah, man. I mean,
I,
not
I
much
I
more.
agree with what you're saying. I also think that Everton got complacent.
Mm,
Especially for that third goal, Everton got complacent.
mm.
I don't think they were playing the way that they played throughout the entire game, having that control. Yes, Taku scored like his first goal was a worldie, but I think they got complacent. They thought that the was going to be blown. Um, so I think they got complacent. The other talking point, and I haven't listened to Pep Guardiola's post match presser yet, but there was comments about Keane's tackle on Jeremy Doku. That was not a red card. I don't care what anybody says. That is not a red card. His boot was not high. He hit his ankle low. Like, where else is he supposed to go? It's not my fault that Jeremy Doku is like 2 feet from the ground. Of course, it's gonna look worse when you got like a guy that's 6'5" tackling someone who's 5-0. So if Pep Guardiola thinks that's a red card, then he's got something else coming his way because that was not a red card. And CJ, when you watch the game back, you'll see the tackle. I don't think that was a red card, but Laurent, given that you've watched the game, what's your take? Red card, no red card?
No, I think it was a good call to make. Yeah, it's not a red, and I mean they went to VAR, right? They had to look at it pretty extensively, I think, as
No, it was
well.
quick.
It was
It
quick.
was quick. Yeah, it was quick.
Okay, okay.
Because
But
as Michael Oliver was
mm,
walking towards the spot, like he said, yeah, because Bernardo
mhm.
Silva was asking for it, and he said no. They looked at it and it was in red.
Yeah, no. I agree. I agree. I do not think it is a red. Um, yeah, it's I mean, reckless. I don't know if you, but no, definitely not a red. Studs were down, right? Towards the ground, and yeah, they gave him a yellow, and that's what it was,
It's
right?
an
So
old school tackle. It's literally
yeah,
an old school tackle. Like what do you want from him?
but I swear, like back in the days, a tackle like that might not even get a yellow card.
Nope,
Yeah.
nope. Um, quickly before we move on to looking ahead at the Champions League semifinal second leg, Chelsea 6 losses in a row. 6 losses in a row. To put it into perspective, Mr. Piana, I just sent an Instagram. I don't know, CJ, if you saw it in our group chat. Premier League table as of March 4th. Fifth spot, Chelsea. 29 games played, plus 19 goal differential, 48 points. Sixth, Liverpool, 48 points. Seventh, Brentford, 44 points. Eighth, Everton, 43 points. Ninth, Bournemouth on 40 points. This was as of March 4th. As of May 4th, which is exactly 2 months later, fifth spot, Aston Villa, 58 points. Bournemouth, sixth spot, 52 points. Brentford, seventh spot, 51 points. Brighton, eighth, 50 points. And all the way down there in ninth spot, coming in at the same 48 points with a plus six goal differential now, Chelsea. What on earth has happened?
Yeah, no, it's the reality. It's the reality of Chelsea fans, worldwide, nationwide. But honestly, I think in terms of I mean the initial destabilization of the club, right, with the Maresca sacking, as Kukurea pointed out in his interview, right, there's a bit of an impact there. But for me, I think it was that PSG game, right? Once
Hmm.
that was lost in that nature, and then trying to bounce back from that, I think the morale was lost, the support for the manager was lost, um, and you can tell in the performances. Even this one, I
Bad.
mean, yeah, no, it was definitely yeah, no, it was a bad game. I mean, Garnacho was out, but more so for I think for a knock as opposed to being dropped.
That's definitely why you guys lost. No Garnacho.
Yeah, so Garnacho, no Pedro Neto,
Who the
and
hell
then
is Derry? Jesse Derry?
That guy was actually, I felt bad for him. He was doing, I watched this game from 1 to 90 as well. But anyways, I'll let Laurent finish his,
yeah, no, so that's the academy boy, right?
yeah.
Um, and we played him in a few games prior to. Came out of that game with a concussion. It was a
Hmm.
concussion sub. But apart from that, man, I think it's just lackluster, right? Going forward, and then the mistakes are still there in the back, right? So these are things that you're hoping with a new manager over the summer, right? These things can be ironed out. But beyond that, listen, my boy scored, and score did he? Ooh, do you guys see that goal?
Hmm.
Yeah, man. Yeah, it's that to
What
me.
happened to Sanchez? Why did he get subbed?
Another concussion, but his wasn't ruled a concussion sub, but it was off of a concussion incident. Yeah,
Damn.
yeah, yeah. But yeah, man. Listen, at this point, right? FA Cup. Those are where the marbles are being pushed, being played. So we got to find a way to get up for that, right? And hopefully we do have the reinforcements. And I personally do hope that I do not see the lap in that game whatsoever.
What
Um,
about Garnacho? Listen, I'll say this. If you win the prediction series, you bet your ass I'm gonna get you a Garnacho Chelsea kit.
You, you shouldn't even have told him that. You should just let it happen, like see his face once he gets the kit and he looks at the back.
Bro,
Garnacho.
it's either Garnacho, Delap, fucking who's the other Guiu.
Listen,
Oh
man,
God.
football football happens in swings and roundabouts. And for those listening, right, and watching, sure you can tell that, the three of us have a long history in terms of our this relationship that we got. So we banter each other a certain way, especially those who know me and Laurent been around long enough to know that this has been going on for 10 plus years. And like you said, back in them days at York, it was never really like me and you with a direct correlation. It was Clay, it was Naby, and you guys going at it, or it was me going at it with one of them. But never really too much Chelsea Arsenal stuff directly between me and you. So it's like, but at that time we were definitely, in the mud, and you guys were on the up and up, winning a couple big trophies in that time. Um, but now, as they say, like I said, football's a humbler. Football happens in swings and roundabouts. And right now, you guys are in the mud, and No one should feel bad for Laurent, those watching, because he's got to hold it this time around. Hold your medicine, as they say. You guys are truly in the mud, and Chelsea Football Club at this moment in time is absolutely a disaster. And I don't see, again, the jokes aside on this one, I don't see it getting any better anytime soon. I know you said, we'll be back and all this. You keep saying we'll be back. You seem like a man who's not worried, but you should be worried, my friend. I think Chelsea is in some serious problems. And again, when your definition of will be back is, I don't know. For me, like, it's not something that's going to happen in the next year. I think you guys personally are going to be trying to figure things out and rebuilding for the next 2 to 3, maybe 3 to 4 seasons to like where you're truly back contending at the top table, man. Because I think you guys are in some problems. Like that ownership, no, doesn't have a clue. And then obviously if you don't get, Champions League football this season, it's one step forward and two steps back, right? So I think you're gonna have some big players leaving. The fans are not happy. The fans are protesting. I just think there's a lot of turmoil over there at the moment. But like I said, once upon a time it was us, it was United or whatever. And things happen in roundabouts. So it's like right now it's you guys, Once upon a time you guys were the darlings of English football for a hot minute, and it's all fallen by the wayside. So hey man, you can say the Roman Abramovich thing. We can point to our excuses as to why we're not lifting Premier League titles and whatnot anymore either, for the last 20 years. Um, yeah, that happens. It cycles, and no one really cares about the excuses of it. But you just gonna have to hold it for now. So it sucks that we weren't doing this at a time where, we weren't recording podcasts at a time where Chelsea was up for you to be able to, brag about it and boast about it. It is what it is. It's just if we get over the line this season, I hope you will still show up to the podcasts on a weekly basis.
When we get over the line.
Yeah. Best of luck going forward, though.
Oh, thank you, thank you. I take that in great spirits, actually. I'm always in positive spirits. I do say. And yeah, man, listen, we'll be back. Chelsea FC, man. The brand, the name behind that club, it stands for a lot. And for those of you that are questioning, we are still currently your fucking world champions. So thank you very much. Um, and beyond that, I mean, I don't know what else to tell you. I definitely think we'll be back to defend our world champion in 4 years' time, 100%. So we'll be back for that. Actually, that's a date. Mark that date actually in your calendars, ladies
Some
and gentlemen.
say next season's always better, eh?
Of course, man. Of course. With like I said, man, Chelsea, right? We find ways to win, and if we can win the FA Cup this season as well, I think it'd be something to celebrate, right? For a season that has just gone to shit, right? So it just shows again, right? When you talk about grit and resolve, facing adversity, and still finding a way to come out with something. So yeah, man, May 16th.
All right, let's wrap this up with the Champions League semifinals. Um, Obviously the second game, Bayern PSG, a bunch of goals that are going to happen in that game. I think it's going to be another goal fest. Um, I think we're going to see the best of the best. We're going to see some attacking prowess, and we're gonna see who comes through. We're gonna see either that home advantage is gonna play well for Bayern, or if PSG is not gonna get scared of anything, right? If they're gonna go in there, defend their title, and they're gonna come through, going back to back finals. Um, but the leg that we're more concerned about, Arsenal welcome Atletico. Uh, Last first leg, there was a lot of controversy with that penalty. It turned out to be no penalty. Over refereeing, whatever you want to call it. We're coming home with a 1-1 draw. Um, Listen, we beat them before, and we're still invincible in the Champions League this year, eh? I think that's something that no one's talking about. We still haven't lost. The type of performances that we're putting forward to me gives me confidence. And I think knowing that Martin Odegaard and Kai Havertz may be available for this game, I think CJ, he said that in his presser today, correct?
Yeah.
The fact that both of them can be available for this game, I think gives me confidence. Um, The only question that I have in the lineup would be who's going to play right back? Are you going to go with the attacking prowess of Ben White so you get something going forward if Bukayo Saka's starting? Or are you going to play Christian Mascara and be a little bit safe? Because as left back, I don't know about you, CJ. For me, it's it's Pierre and Capier, 100%.
Yeah, I agree.
I don't want to take any risks. Pierre and Capier is solid.
Yeah.
I'm willing to take some less attacking play and secure the left side and take that attacking play on the right side. For me, I'd play Ben White. I think he had a decent enough game, and I think what Arteta did last time, bring him on at the 60th minute, 70th minute, I think is good for Muscara to come on. Um, but everywhere else, go as strong as possible. And if Odegaard's available, I don't want him starting. You
So
know, my
what is this? Sorry, go on.
so,
Go on. I'll let you finish your point before I ask you.
no, all I was gonna say is my midfield three is Eze, Zubimendi, Rice, but with Rice as a sitter, not Zubimendi. And then the front three, Saka, Gyökeres, and reluctantly, I think it should still be Martinelli. I think that pace behind, and I think having Eze in there who can find him making those runs, I think is going to cause a lot of havoc. And the back line just speaks for itself. Like we don't really have to talk about it. I think Ben White is my decision. Yeah, I think we win. I think I think more and more after watching that performance in the weekend, I'm pretty sure we're gonna win in the 90. I don't think this goes to extras. Thoughts?
Mm. Yeah, I know. And what I was going to ask you was going to be, I know you said you want to go as strong as possible. So I was just going to ask you what that looked like, but you answered my question for me because you gave me your 11.
Yeah.
And the reason why I asked that is because he would have a couple of selection headaches, you would think on paper. I mean, in his head, he's going to know what he wants to do and all that stuff. But from the outside looking in as fans, you look at that performance on midfield and in midfield, for example, on the weekend, and you say, oh, like why change a winning side? Like there's a lot of people at the moment calling for Lewis Kelly to play and to start, saying he's earned enough to start. However, my lineup, I actually agree with you. I agree with you fully with what you said in midfield. I agree with the Eze, Odegaard, sorry, Eze, Martin Zubimendi, and Declan Rice midfield, and I agree 100% that Rice should be the six and allow Zubimendi to get forward to be the more number eight, so to speak, or get forward more. So I fully agree with that. And my reason being for that is because, yes, Lewis Kelly can come in and play again. However, you might just want to err on a little bit extra side of caution and experience. It's a Champions League semifinal at the end of the day. Zubimendi, allow him to come back in and, with the experience head come in there and help us see it through. Not to say Miles Lewis Kelly can't play a part, certainly off the bench, for example, but I would probably revert back to type with that Zubimendi and Rice midfield, that structure. Um, and Eze over Odegaard, even if Odegaard is fully fit.
Yeah.
Um, you know, I think again, this is a game we need to win. This isn't a game you need to sit back and chess match and wait for the 85th minute for something to happen. We need to show bravery from the jump. I think from the first whistle, I think we need to be the ones to be the aggressors and be on the front foot, try and score early. Like you said, I hope this gets done in 90 because I do not want extra time at all. That would not be good for the nerves. So I want us to show authority from early, man. Honestly, bro, like all jokes aside, guys, like we're the better team. We're better than Atletico Madrid. They haven't shown enough for me to say, okay, yeah, these guys are, they're a good side. You respect them because they're a good side. But come on, we're not playing PSG, we're not playing Barca, we're not playing Bayern, we're not playing Real Madrid. Atletico Madrid, we slapped them up earlier this season in the group stage 4-0. We went away from home last weekend, and we've shown with our first half performance that we are more than good enough to, after nullifying the atmosphere that they had in Madrid, to get on the ball and dominate them and hurt them in areas. Yes, like I said, they're a good side, but if anyone told you at the beginning of the season, your route to the final is playing Atletico Madrid in the semis, we'd all bite your hand off for that. Surely Arsenal is favorites going into that. You know what I mean? So, I think we should go in with nothing to fear. They just got past Tottenham in the round of 16. Um, and the Tottenham side who was in the mud, right? I think Tottenham beat them in the second leg, actually, if I'm not mistaken. So that's Tottenham. You know what I mean? Like, come on, bro. There's vulnerabilities there. They're not the same defensive side that they once were under Simeone a few years ago. They do play a more attacking brand of football now than they once did. Simeone admitted that himself. So, but we just, I think overall with the squad that we have might have available with Odegaard off the bench and Havertz off the bench, um, I'm assuming they're both going to be on the bench. Like I think we'll have just too much for them on the day in terms of the overall squad. So, um, we should get the job done. I don't think there's even any excuse about it anymore. If you're Arsenal Football Club and you want to be serious and you want to be taken serious in Europe, you beat Atletico Madrid in the semifinals of the Champions League. With all due
In the
respect,
90. No, don't go to extra time. Beat them
agreed.
in the 90. And the
Agreed.
one player that you're not talking about too, and it being too much on off the bench is Lewis Skelly.
Yep.
He can trust him to bring him on at the 20 with 20 30 minutes left to get some control because he's gonna receive the ball in the midfield. He's gonna ride the tackle, annoy the athletic players, get a
Mm.
few yellow cards, slow the game down, waste time, and get it over the line. Right? We're gonna play the dark arts that Simeone is used to playing.
And I think exactly that. And I think it depends how we see the game going. I know I'm cutting into, the keys to victory that we usually talk about and how I see us winning the game and stuff, but I'm gonna tie it all in together when I say my prediction 11 is based on how I expect the game is going to go and how I expect the game to go, to be honest with you. And for me, that means Trossard. I know you had Martinelli to start. I had Trossard to start, and I have
Okay.
that midfield sort of attacking three behind Gyökeres being Saka on the right, Eze in the middle, Trossard on the left, because I want the ball players, I want the technicians on the pitch to supply for Gyökeres. We've
Fair.
shown, right? We didn't even talk about this earlier when we debriefed the Fulham game, but for a striker like Gyökeres, he thrives off good service, right? For as much as we've criticized Gyökeres this season, we have not played to his strengths. I'm sorry, when you have Gyökeres up top, but you have Noni Madueke and Martinelli on the wings, you're not getting any service. I'm sorry. I said this to you guys in the group chat on the weekend. Imagine if Gyökeres, he doesn't have to be the best footballer in the world. Imagine Gyökeres was playing in Bayern Munich's team with Elise and Diaz on the wings. Imagine he was playing in PSG's team with Kvaratskhelia and Doué and Barcola on the wings. Like, how much supply would he be getting game in, game out? You know what I mean? So again, shock horror. You play Saka and a Trossard together with an Eze in behind to supply Gyökeres. That's heavy duty supply, right? I'm sorry.
Mm-hmm.
Gyökeres surrounded by Madueke and Martinelli, with all due respect to those guys, you're not going to get the same level of supply. Saka has end product as he's shown on the weekend. Saka, will deliver those balls into the areas that we need them to, and Trossard the same. Trossard tends to look up for Gyökeres early a lot of the times. He'll play those balls in behind, he'll play those balls over the top. So I think you start with again the attacking intent and with guys who can have that, we can get on the ball, we can dominate possession, and Trossard, Saka, Eze, I think will give you that if that's your attacking quartet behind Gyökeres, so to speak, right? And then you have, like I said, Zubimendi and Rice behind them. Zubimendi with a little bit more of a license to get forward. And then the back line is interesting. I agree with you. I think we don't need to be super disrespectful. We can't go all out attack. So you need a Hincapié. You need that solid, defender in there to just
Yeah.
lock it down because they are going to come with attacking threat. Let's be honest, right? So you need,
Alvarez is fit.
yeah. So you need Hincapié in there to balance it out. So I think Hincapié at left back, obviously the two center backs speak for themselves. And on the right, you could go, it's a toss up between Ben White and Mascara. Um, but I think either way, it balances out.
Yeah.
You have that attacking intent, as I mentioned, with the guys going forward, and you have defensive structure, to be honest with you. And I think that's how we win the game, to be honest with you. I hope we should just have enough to deal with them. But again, the football isn't played on paper, right? The nerves are going to come into it. The ball is round, as they say. It can bounce a certain way for them, and we just got to hope that we take care of the business. And one thing that we didn't talk about before I pass it over to Laurent's thoughts. Um, the atmosphere, right? The 12th man at home has to be a factor for us, right? Like, I think we've shown this season the usefulness of having the second leg at home. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Sorry, yeah, having the second leg at home, and we've earned that right by finishing top of the group stage, and therefore allows us to have the second leg in your own backyard. And I think that's a massive advantage this season for us that we haven't talked about, right? Is getting something in the first leg, getting a result, and then going back home and then finishing off business. I think that's how we should approach this one as well. Use that 12th man. Apparently, there's going to be the largest tifo in the ground that we've ever seen at the Emirates.
Yep.
Apparently, there's a scheduled, fans are going to be outside the ground. I don't know if you saw that to welcome the
Yep.
team bus in. That's something that we've never done before. So just kind of get the group rallied up and get the guys hyped up. So fans are going to be able to stay outside the stadium, just getting the boys ready for when the team bus rolls in and just we need to make that be the 12th man for real and just make that environment and that atmosphere, like Madrid's atmosphere last week, and if not, go one further. So yeah, man, I'm relatively confident, but tomorrow, we're gonna wake up and be a lot more nervous. Laurent's gonna message in the group chat and tell us it's a game day and are we fucking ready and all this stuff, and I'm gonna get a little bit nervous. But listen, man, here right now as we're speaking about it, I'm pretty confident. And I hope we can get the job done. But
Listen, the
yeah.
grass is going to be watered. It's going to be the appropriate length. The crest is going to be there for players to step on, step off. A VAR, Simeone doing his stupid fucking antics like this is going to happen. He's going to be swimming on the sidelines. He can swim his ass all the way back to Madrid.
Mm. Yeah, man. Yeah, Laurent, what say you about this one from a neutral's perspective?
Hey, well, he's not a neutral. Relax. He's not a neutral.
I
Don't
try, I
don't
try and trying to give him the benefit of the doubt.
Nah, nah. Look at that dirty grin. He is not a neutral. He's like, I want to see Arsenal suffer. I want to see them lose. I want to see it be heartbreak. I want to see it in penalties. I want to see a few injuries, and I want them to lose the Premier League and Champions League. That's what this motherfucker's thinking. Come on now. HR is on vacation. We can keep it 100.
Definitely agree with everything up to the last point. No, I do not want to see players get injured because what the fuck. Um, us again, man. Chelsea, we got that class. Yeah, man. We have that class about us. So no, for those listening at home, uh, listen. I hope that all players on that pitch, right, can make it back home in one piece. Even the fans as well, right? You don't hope for any shenanigans, right, to seep through after the game, depending on the result. But other than that, man, I just hope for a good game of football. Um, I know the last one was a chess match between the two managers. I'm hoping for something a bit more open. And in terms of, I mean, who I have favored to win this game, I know in terms of even the bookies and all that, Arsenal are definitely favored in this. I think my prediction is going to have to go that way as well. Unfortunately, because the leaderboard is too tight for me to start predicting, what I want to happen. But yeah, no. I mean, on the back of the last game, despite the fact that, and I didn't comment on it, but to me, I mean, Fulham didn't seem like a team that was quite in there mentally for this game throughout. But despite that, right, the performance for Arsenal was still solid. So, if they can take that into tomorrow's game, right, they stand a good chance. But on the other side, I still do think that Atleti has a quality going forward. We saw that, right, with the likes of Griezmann, right? I think he hit the crossbar on the last one, and even what's the guy's name that he came from Italy?
Lookman?
Yeah, Lookman. Um, Even Lookman there, right, is a dangerous threat, right? And if he's more clinical this game than the last, right, it can severely cause issues for Arsenal's hopes, right, of making it to the finals. But all in all, I do feel like this should be a close game. If we're being real, um, if I'm Arsenal, I'm concerned about the quick nature of Atleti's play because if you guys noticed from the last game, right, there's times where they're able to get out of tough situations simply because they move the ball fast, right? Mind you, right, they tried to do that on one occasion, and that led to you guys getting that penalty, right? Because at times, if you're going to move the ball fast, right, your passes have to be spot on, right? They can't be loose because sometimes players could be out of positions, things like that. But yeah, man. Madueke, like you said, CJ, if he does play, and the guy on the left, right, Gabriel, no, sorry, Martinelli, um, I think could deter your chances because again, when those guys are on, um, the service, right, the quality at times is just not the best, right? Whereas what we saw with Saka, right, and the link up with Gyökeres in the last game, right, it seemed pretty effective. Seems like those two made up, right? Because yeah, man, earlier on it seems like they were beefing every time, right? One of them would score or do something like that. But yeah, man, for me, I'm hoping for a good game, and I'm also hoping for Arsenal loss. I must say, for many reasons, right? As I'm hoping you guys do not lift this trophy. Um, And you see how I just say that with such a grin and such a smile on my face, right? But yeah, man. But if you guys do lift it at the end of the day, right, I will have to congratulate because again, like I said, here at Chelsea, we are classy. Um, if the opponent, right, finds a way to win, we have to commend, right, and then you keep moving. So something I know I cannot expect from the other side, but it is what it is.
Oh shit. This is CJ, I think I've had a part to do in Laurent's hatred for Arsenal.
100%. I promise you, it was not always this deep, bro. Pause. He was never always like this with
Mm.
Arsenal.
I think it's the 104 episodes of me bantering him.
100%. Apparently, gatherings has something to do with it too. So I guess we'll never expect to see Laurent at gatherings ever again.
But this is the same motherfucker that's like, I'm gonna walk into the gatherings in my tracksuit. I'm gonna this and that. Yo, boys, the Nike store was closed. I couldn't get my tracksuit. So when you're gonna come with that energy, of course I'm gonna banter you, bro. What say you, Piana?
Again, like I said, man, I think the fan base more so. I just think is to be able to talk like you guys talk. You guys first have to win something, right? You see what I'm saying? You guys have to start winning, right?
In modern times,
In modern
you
times,
have
of
to add
course.
that in there.
Oh, 100%, 100%. Your grandpa can talk like that, right? Your grandpa, your great grandpas, right? They can talk like that. They can come to me and right? Chat to me with that kind of energy because damn shit, you've lived through that period of the Gunners doing this and that, right?
No, no,
Right?
but this is where we're gonna have to agree to disagree because just because Chelsea Football Club was born in 2004, 2005, doesn't mean that football
Uh,
started in 2004, 2005. Just because I was young enough to witness it and you only started watching football at that time, you know what I mean? Football didn't start when you conveniently think it started, and that's what Chelsea fans need to realize. So that's all I'm gonna say.
And we thought Arsenal fans were deluded. We didn't realize the world started in 2004, 2005.
You know what I
again,
mean? That's what
it's
they
not.
act like.
It's not what we're saying. What I'm
It's the
saying
same thing with
is that
City fans too. All of a sudden, the world started 10 years ago when they started the 115 and they cheated their way
no, but
at winning
I
trophies.
think I think City fans do have definitely do have the right to
Here
chat.
we go.
100%, 100%, bro. I remember this very well when City fans, sorry, when City were winning back to back, and I was out there playing footy, right, and I was bumping into City fans, and they were talking, and you have to respect it because you're actually winning something, right? 115 or not, you're winning.
So when the
So
115 verdict comes out and they're proven guilty for all their fuckery, are you going to be the first to retract your statement here?
no, I'm not because I think you won it. To me, you won it.
All right.
Like
So but
whatever.
you won by cheating. You won illegally.
Like again,
And this is where
again,
the class of Chelsea
again,
Football Club
again,
is not
again,
valid to what
again,
you're saying.
again.
Chelsea and class do not go hand in hand. I'm
This
No,
sorry.
whole,
they
this
don't because
whole,
they already were found of cheating, and now
this
he's saying,
whole,
yeah,
this
we're
whole
gonna
cheating.
we're gonna cheat, and then because they cheated, we can cheat too.
They're
Again,
the grandfathers, but that's why Chelsea fans will defend City because
Yeah,
they started this whole cheating bullshit. They
yeah.
started the whole, you know what I mean? That's why Roman Abramovich got out before, his hands got a little bit more dirty. So, hey man,
uh,
we won't go down that road though.
right? Because we live in such a cutesy world where everything is so clean, eh? Where everyone just plays by the rules, right? Right?
Hey man, it's all
That's
good until you get caught. That's why I
uh,
said if they get caught, just
uh,
like you guys have gotten caught,
right,
then
right,
you
right.
lose all
Nah,
credibility
man.
and respect.
I'll tell you right now, man. Like I said, man, the victors in this world, right? Their hands are dirty as fuck. Yet they're the victors nonetheless, right?
Wait, listen, if they're
You see what I'm saying,
guilty, if they're
bro?
guilty, then I would
Listen,
disagree with that.
I'm definitely not going to go into the specifics, right? Because at this point, it just becomes a different podcast. But do know, right, that those who lead life as it is, right, their hands are dirty as fuck, right? But
Allegedly.
what?
If they're guilty, then it's a different
Again,
story.
yeah,
Like
but
I said.
yeah, yeah, you're guilt. I'm guilty in my own courtroom. You see what I'm saying? I'm guilty in my own courtroom, right?
Well, I don't get your point. But we're talking about Like
No, no, but you see,
City is not the
if I
115 is not in your own court. That's
no,
public
no, but
knowledge. So
if
if
I
they're
make if
guilty
I
publicly, then they're guilty. Period. They lose all credibility for whatever
no,
trophies they
that's
won and
listen,
all that bullshit.
listen again. My point is this: is that right? This whole they got their hands hurt. I'm just telling you that life, right? Like the victors in life today, bro, their hands are dirty as fuck.
Okay, so then the next time you talk about class, I want you to pause and remind yourself of this conversation.
That's what I'm saying. Chelsea
Because
is the last
class
club that should talk about
comes
class.
with winning, but winning within the boundaries of the rule. Chelsea
Yeah,
are
100%.
not classy. Chelsea are win by any means and cheat your way to the top. So next time you
Again,
talk about class, that is Chelsea and class do not go hand in hand. Arsenal and class go hand in hand because the years that we were in the banter era, the context of that was we built the Emirates, Wenger had no money, and yet we were playing Champions League every single year. So you want to talk about class and you want to talk about all these, words of wisdom and the shit that you always do saying, oh, I don't want to take this to a different conversation. Laurent, Chelsea and class do not go hand in hand. It's like mud and water. It does not work. So don't ever say that Chelsea and class are the same thing.
And
That is
on
that's
top
a
of that, sorry, and on top of that, like I said, I don't know what you were doing back in those days. Yes, it's been a long time since we won, but the whole grandfather and great grandfather stuff is again factually incorrect because just because you started watching football when Chelsea became relevant doesn't mean the rest of us, I'll speak for myself, wasn't around as a young kid watching Arsenal lift the Premier League back then, the last time we did win it. Like I said, it was a long time ago, but as long as you're thinking as it was, you'd have to fact check yourself because we were all alive, all three of us were alive when Arsenal won their last three Premier League titles at the very least. So just because you weren't watching at that time, I can't tell you. I can't help you. I was there. I was watching. But hey, your period started. You guys were birthed in what 2004, whenever Roman came in. So the lifespan of Chelsea Football Club, rest in peace, 2004 to 2026. It was a nice ride. See you guys on in the other side. I don't know in the afterlife. But I told you it's gonna be a while before you guys are back. So
I
you
think
know,
for the
well,
sake of getting
how far back did you go back for that one?
what do you mean?
No, for that memory piece. How far back did you go back for that one?
For when Roman was gave life to Chelsea?
No, no, I'm talking for that memory you cherish, right up to this date. How far back did you go back for that one?
Yeah, that was in 2004. That's what I said.
Mm.
But your grandfather this and great grandfather that. That's what I'm saying. Like you have to do your homework before you come on this pod and start talking about things like that because it was definitely within our lifetime. Like I said, just because you were watching Pokemon or other things at the time doesn't mean that Arsenal wasn't lifting trophies when you were, a young boy. So we don't have to go that far back. That's all I'm saying.
That's actually quite far back.
Yeah,
You
but
probably don't. Yeah,
it's
but you probably don't realize it. But that's almost right. That's the turn of the century. No, around that time.
no 2004. I mean, I'm pretty sure that's still the 21st
Yeah,
century.
it's like
But
I mean that's 4 years after, right?
yeah, but again, it's still this century, right? So I'm just making sure you fact
Yeah, no,
check yourself.
I'm just saying it's about the turn, right? It's right about the turn. It's not
The
even.
2000 and 2001 would be the turn, but hey, who's counting?
I mean,
I
shit, bro.
think
Like
I
it's not
think
even
we
5 years, but
I,
you
I
tell me,
think
man.
I think we should table this conversation for the off season because we're getting very close to the off season and we can have our debate. But we should get this pod out to the listeners, viewers, so that they got time to listen to this before the game tomorrow. Arsenal, Atletico Madrid. Prediction leaderboard is getting very tight at the top. CJ and Laurent tied on 91 points, and I am slacking on 82. Still within the title race because if Man City's in the title race, then I'm in the title race. Arsenal Atletico, I'm going Arsenal win. Arsenal's going to get through to the finals. What say you, CJ and Laurent?
Arsenal.
Yeah, that's my prediction as well.
Well done. You're actually thinking with your brain for once, Laurent.
Listen, I wish you would do the same. I mean, you could have 91 points too.
Ah, but I support my team through and through.
Ah, so clearly you're not thinking with the brain you are supposed to have.
Mm, that did that give you a lot of power to make a diss like that? Wow.
Not at all, actually. No, no, no.
No.
If no, I'm just letting you know, right?
Mm.
Because mind you, right? I just want you to, for the viewers at home, I'm what you would call a villain that is more so reactionary, right? I mind my own business, But if I am provoked, I will return in kind. So
Mm,
right, just to clear the air on that.
mm. Bayern PSG. I think Bayern going to be too much. And playing in Munich, the Red Sea, just going to be too much for PSG.
I'm gonna go Bayern as well.
CJ?
I'm going Bayern Munich.
Wow.
I'm
Copycats,
just
eh?
I'm just laughing because just quickly before we move on, I have to clock this. We have to do this because Laurent mentioned you called Murdat out to be fair for the reason why he's not maybe at the top of the leaderboard is because he's maybe thinking with his heart instead of his head and not making rational decisions in that sense. But I believe you were the same guy who already predicted Chelsea to win the FA Cup final, even after all this. So giving you a chance on the stand, is that still your thought process?
What of me predicting
Chelsea
Chelsea
to
to
win,
win the
yeah,
FA
yeah.
Cup? Yeah, I'm gonna go with the FA Cup. I
Mm.
mean, listen, I think I
That
do
one's
have
made
the
with your heart or your head?
I'd say with the heart, but I mean I do have the privilege of making that prediction given my positioning, right? It's all about positioning, as they say, right? Even in poker, that I'm sure, right, you are familiar with the term, right? But my point is, right, I do have a bit of wiggle room here to make some predictions who you could say are less so in my favor than not, right? So yes, but if I was trying to make a point, right, I probably would not be doing that. Just to clear the air.
Certainty. There's no certainty in your voice, eh?
Listen, with Chelsea FC nowadays, man, you just don't know. You just don't know.
The only thing certain is that they're all going to go to drama class before each game.
Yeah, I mean, shit.
Last game, we're gonna do Europa League semi. It's an all English tie. Aston Villa Forest. Forest took a 1-0 lead, or sorry, my apologies. Forest are taking a 1-0 lead to Villa Park. Um, I just saw quickly that I think it was Morgan Gibbs White who had the incident for Robert
Hmm.
Sanchez. Who knows if he's gonna be able to play Thursday with that massive gash on his face? If he can wear a mask, if he can't wear a mask, like I don't know what it's gonna look like. Is that his face is gonna swell like crazy. Um, Nonetheless, I think Unai Emery is one who knows how to win Europa. He's done it with Sevilla. He almost did it with Arsenal. And for me, I think Villa are going to be too much, especially at Villa Park, and I think Villa win the game.
I agree. I'm gonna go Villa as well.
CJ?
Yeah, unfortunately, I think that swings the tie. I don't know if like that Gibbs White sub was a concussion sub. I think it was. And if it is a concussion sub, right, then he's in concussion protocol, and that means he's out for
Yeah.
X amount of days. Um, Listen, I would love for this is one of those head versus heart predictions, right? After fucking Villa just bent over backwards and folded against Spurs on the weekend, the whole footballing world is preying on Villa's downfall now because obviously Unai did what Unai does, and he rotated that team on the weekend for the second leg in Europe, which means Spurs won because Emery went with a rotated side against them. And that means Spurs got their second victory in 2026. So again, the whole footballing world who wants to see Spurs relegated. Um, Emery did not do us any favors. So bun
No.
him and bun Villa at this point now. However, I still think unfortunately they're gonna turn it around, to be honest with you. If you remember, he did a similar thing when he was at Arsenal, right? When we were
Hmm.
in the Europa League and it backfired on him as well. Um, we rotated in the Premier League. I think we were going for top four. He tried to rotate in
Yeah.
the Premier League, tried to be clever. We lost that game in the Premier League at that time, and then we lost in the Europa League anyways. And so, yeah, I hope a similar thing happens to Emery this time around too, to be honest with you. Um, but I don't think it's gonna happen. All that to say, I actually think that
Villa are
Villa
gonna.
will get through, yeah. Especially if giveaway is not there.
Well, it looks like May 19th. I'm gonna be a Chelsea fan.
Oh, is that when we face Spurs?
Yes, I'm gonna be wearing blue. And then last game of the season, Everton go to the toilet bowl with an opportunity to relegate them.
Well, just out of
So,
curiosity,
mhm.
Chelsea also, I actually thought you were talking about the Liverpool game because Chelsea also play another team that you hate, or at least a manager that you hate next weekend, Liverpool Chelsea. So I was curious to know who you'd be going for in that one.
We're jumping. We're jumping segments. I think that's for the next pod. I need to have a few sleeps to decide which side my my prediction's going.
Mm.
What I can tell you is that we'll be back with another episode. And for you to know when that episode's coming out, you got to hit that bell. You got to hit that subscribe button. You got to hit that like. We're coming out with more banter. Listen, we're called the Gunner's Corner. The reason why, no, there's never friendly fire. The only fire is directed is to West London. You know, he tries to come back with some, fire, but he's shooting blanks. He's shooting blanks in this century. The only thing that he's sitting on is a preseason trophy that we had no opportunity in participating in. Because I can promise you, if we were participating in that preseason trophy, we would have beat Chelsea. Same way that we've been owning Chelsea for the last 11, 12, 13 games and counting. So to continue to experience the banter and to continue to experience all that there is in the Gunner world, hit that like, hit that subscribe. Look out for CJ's post match reaction video tomorrow after the game when Arsenal are in the finals. And who knows, I may make a special appearance. We may pull a run for live reaction, a live hater reaction of Arsenal going to the finals. And on that bombshell, adios.